About to get there. Preparing right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday Talk, where we meet every Tuesday at the Perfect Latte. Well, virtually so. And why do we do so? Because the Perfect Latte is the perfect place for talking about all things good. It's literally a place paired for perfection. If you haven't visited this cute little coffee shop where quality is what is spelled, please allow me to introduce Miss Han, who's the owner of this place, and let you know where this amazing coffee shop is located. So there you go, Miss Han. Please let our viewers know, where is this beautiful place?
Good afternoon, everybody. The Perfect Latte is located conveniently on Grand Parkway South, next to the Palladium. And so the intersection is between Bel Air and West Belfort. We're there serving you, dine in, pick up, curbside, you name it, call us and we'll bring the order out for you as well. We are very glad to be here to talk to our friend Boyd Handley about some really important subject. So take it on, Mo.
Yes. So why does Han love inviting people to this beautiful, to me, it's a temple. It's a home away from home. Because again, as you can see, I'll introduce you shortly to Mr. Boyd Handley. These are people, guys, we are talking who are constantly wanting to pour into our community, into our society, again, doing all things good. So Miss Han here is a connector. She just brings people, and so that we can learn what good things they're doing, how we can help others, and how the people who are coming to chat here, just like Mr. Boyd Handley today, how can they provide their services to help as many people, right? Helping people is our number one job. So without much further ado, let me introduce you all Mr. Boyd Handley. He is an attorney at in the Katy Fulshire area. And guess what? He will be doing a much better job of introducing himself, because I couldn't stop talking of all the amazing things he does. He's a beautiful person, an amazingly kind-hearted, generous-hearted person. So I will let Mr. Boyd roll. So would you mind introducing yourself, Boyd?
Well, thank you, Mo and Han. Thank you. And I want to say on the Perfect Latte, other than perfect lattes, I have fantastic smoothies also. So I've had some of those and they were great. But just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm an attorney in the Katy Fulshire area. I do probate, wills and trust, guardianships, estate planning, elder law, special needs, and also do SSI and Medicaid. This is my second career. I was a geologist for 35 years. I got my law license about 17 years ago. Kept it up while I was working as a geologist, doing some contracts and stuff. And then in 2015, started practicing what I'm doing now. Why do I want to do it? Well, I've got a daughter with special needs, so I've gone through the guardianship and all of that myself as a parent. So probably about 50% of my clients or families with special needs kids, because I can help them, whether it's in guardianship or SSI and Medicaid, because I've done that myself. Do a lot of estate planning with wills, trust, power of attorneys, medical power of attorneys, and HIPAA. I did help my parents before they died with all those different things. So a lot of things I do for my clients are what I've done myself in my life, and I treat my clients as families. And a lot of what I do is what we've done for my family and my daughter and their needs. So.
Yes, and I have met his daughter a few times. Oh my gosh, what a sweet girl. You can tell they have done such a wonderful job raising her up. And you can see that he has a lot of experience under his belt, right? Nothing teaches us better than other people's experiences. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here, Boyd. Okay. So why do people need to get their will up, done, and running?
Well, one thing in Texas, if you don't have your will, then the state of Texas is going to tell you how to divide your property up. And that can put a lot of issues into probate, which probate is once someone dies, we have to probate the will to dispense with the property. And if you don't have a will, then the state is going to hire an attorney to do that for you. They're also going to hire another attorney to look after your assets. And if you don't have a will, then you don't have a say-so in where your assets are going, and it's going to cost you and the state a lot more money by the courts appointing people. One thing that comes into the matter, if you're in what I call a mixed family, I've got my wife is my second wife. I've got a son by a previous marriage. And if I didn't have a will, then the state is going to give property to each of the kids in different ways. We're in what we call a community property state. And what that means is that basically everything that you brought into your marriage prior to being married is your personal property. And then any property that you've attained during marriage is what they call community property, unless you can prove that it was used from money outside the marriage and all of that. So if you die without a will and you have a mixed marriage with two different kids, your current spouse with your current child will get part of it. And then your son or a child from a previous marriage is only going to get one half of your part of the community property. So if you've got a family where you're living with two sets of kids, you love them all, and you want to give them something, then if you die without a will, then it's going to be given out to the way the state tells you. So you can run into a lot of problems. The other thing with a will is that in Texas, a minor cannot own property or have a large bank account. So what I do with my clients is when they have minor kids, we put together what we call a testamentary trust, which keeps the funds. If you die before the kids reach the age of 18, it will keep those funds in a trust where we won't have to go to probate and get the court to put a trust together, which costs you more money. So there's a lot of things like that you have to think about. And normally when we're young, of course, I'm not young anymore, but when you ladies are young as you are, then you don't think you need a will, but you actually do if you have minor children. The other thing, and I'll just kind of keep going here, the other thing that's very important is having a medical power of attorney, a power of attorney, HIPAA, and physician's directive. About a week ago, my mother-in-law was involved in an accident. Luckily, she's fine, but my wife had to go to the hospital and give them the medical power of attorney and HIPAA, where they would speak to her outside the hospital in a car because they won't let anybody go in. So that's very important to have those, especially with your parents. A lot of parents haven't done that. And the issue that you run into when your parents get ill or unfortunately get dementia as they're going forward, if you don't have a power of attorney or medical power of attorney and HIPAA to look after their things, then the only thing you can do is get guardianship of them. And that's just crazy to have to do that. And if your parents do not feel that they want to give you the power of attorney and medical power of attorney now, it can be active at the time that they are incapacitated or are not able to make a decision. And we can actually put in those documents that a doctor has to say that you're incapacitated. So if you've got parents that don't trust you or don't want you to handle their business until you have to, you can tell them that, yes, I won't get in your business until the doctor says I have to. So, and that even goes with kids in college. Once a child turns 18 in Texas, they're an adult. And so you cannot do anything for them anymore. You can't talk to a doctor. You can't call a hospital up and ask if my child's in the hospital because you don't have the authority to do that. It falls under laws of confidentiality. So I tell my parents is when these kids go to college, at least get the medical power of attorney and the HIPAA. HIPAA is the agreement that allows you to call the doctor and get doctor reports on your child or loved one. So even the power of attorney would be great, but at least have those documents on your young adults going to college, where if they're in a accident, heaven forbid, then you can at least call the doctor or hospital and find out if in fact they're, they're all in the hospital.
Wow, thank you, Boyd. That was so important and such valuable, incredibly valuable information you've sent. Because yeah, you're right. So many people, that miss that foresight because they think it's morbid, or we'll think about it later, and anything related to death or planning. So having this knowledge, having to get to know somebody whom you can like, you can trust. And so now we know who we can go to if any of you need your wills made up. And knowing that, I would like to ask you, so how did you get into law?
Well, I've always wanted to go to law school, and I working at the oil companies downtown, I finally got a chance. I've always worked international and always traveled. So I got to a point where I was not traveling as much. And I worked about 2 blocks from South Texas College of Law downtown. So I went there at night, got into work at 7:30 in the morning, worked till 4:30, and went to class till 9:30, and then went home and studied till 1 o'clock at night. So I did that for about 4 years and got my degree. And then knew one day I'd eventually start using that. And so I hopefully now I'm doing that and very enjoying it. Being a second career, I'm doing it because I enjoy it and enjoy helping people. And so it's very rewarding.
Yes, we can feel that. We can feel your heart in what you do. So would you highlight a little bit about the special needs? So how can parents of special needs or special needs parents benefit?
Yeah, the one thing about special needs is that, prior to 18, a special needs person can get Medicaid and SSI based on their disability, but unfortunately, prior to 18, it's based on their parents' income. So in most cases, it's very hard for them to get SSI and Medicaid. SSI is supplemental income. That's about $783 a month right now. But the main thing is getting Medicaid, which is the health insurance. And so in most of my clients, they have to wait until they turn 18. And then we can apply because it's based on the disability itself. Unfortunately, a lot of people do not realize that it's also the way Social Security looks at that is that how does the disability affect meaningful employment? So you really have to, at the point that you have your child turns 18, unless there's some intellectual disability issues, then you don't automatically get SSI. You have to prove to SSI that the disability affects their employment. And a lot of these kids have never worked. So we really have to get the doctors to write a letter to SSI and explain to them why their disability, such as autism or something like that, affects them doing work. But the main thing is how all the attorneys get involved in it is that in order to get SSI at age 18, the child can only have $2,000 in assets. So we do a lot of things like call a special needs trust, which we have that as a testamentary trust in the will. If you don't think anyone's going to give your child with disability anything prior to your death. But with my parents, they gave my daughter some money prior to their death. So we have what we call a special needs trust on the outside of our wills. And what that trust does is allow the individual to have more than $2,000 in assets. And so that will not disqualify them from SSI when they turn 18. There's other things you can do. The child can actually work. There's a limit to what that child can make on a monthly basis. And there's some trust that we can set up to put that money in. There's also called an ABLE account, which is an account that you can set up with the state of Texas. And there's a limit of $15,000 that you can put into that trust for your child. And then the child can actually work and make up to $13,000 or so a year and put in that, and that won't go against him. So what we're trying to do with these disabled children is to keep the assets below the 2,000 mark where they can qualify for SSI and Medicaid. So that's around about what we do, but that's the main deal with children with disabilities turning 18 is to be able to do all the necessary documents in order for them to qualify for SSI and Medicaid. And also tell my parents is that they can work a little bit, but you don't want to lose SSI, because if you lose SSI because you make too much money, you automatically lose Medicaid. So, and that's the most important part of it. One of the things that happened to us when we got our daughter on SSI is that about 6 months later, SSI got cut off, and we wondered what happened. We had unfortunately had some savings bonds that were given to my daughter when she was born, and they were over $2,000 and had her Social Security number on it, and they found them, and we forgot we had them actually. And so we had to spend them down in order for her to get that $2,000 limit. So there's all sorts of problems or issues that these clients need to understand in order for their loved ones to get that.
Wow.
Also,
So
yeah,
we can already tell that you have a wealth of knowledge, and we know now that you are the expert, because we can tell that you have lots of information that you can share with people, especially who has family members, special needs family members, and they'll get well supported because you can educate them with all the options that you are using yourself know so much.
yeah,
So it's perfect.
Yeah, we're also seeing a lot of children with elderly parents trying to get them in the nursing homes and things of that nature, and they may have, or even planning before they get to that old. There are certain things that we can do with a deeds and trust that will allow their parents not to have a lot of assets that are counted down the road that we can look at. And it's always better to start talking about that with your elder parents now and see what they need to do instead of spending so much money out of their out of their estate paying for a nursing home. I actually have nursing home insurance myself. I did that. My parents had it, and we saw how valuable that was. So that's something that we tell parents. I also do probate, which basically is probating the will. What we try to do is keep everything out of probate. Of course, in Texas, probate's very easy, but we've got things where, of course, your retirement funds, your life insurance, and your checking accounts, as long as they have payable on death, POD on them, are outside of probate. So we just tell everyone to be sure in their beneficiaries, they have the loved ones. Well, of course, I've got everything going to my spouse now. And then after that, it goes to my daughter's special needs trust. So just be sure you have all the beneficiaries on those 3 accounts where they're outside of probate. And then there's something called a living trust or a ladybird deed or Todd, a deed that we can deed your house to and keep them out of probate also.
Thank you so much for sharing all these information. We need to know, how can people reach you? Because we can feel you have a wealth of information that can help people. So what is the way they can reach you?
They can reach me at my phone number is 281-703-3616. I've got a website, www.thehandleylawoffice.com. They can write a note on that and reach me, or they can reach me at my email, which is Boyd, B-O-Y-D, at thehandleylawoffice.com, and that's all one word.
That's perfect.
I actually had the attack on the page as well, on my personal page, so anybody can click on his name. And I know that Carrie just commented with your whole information as well, so nobody can miss you.
Very good.
That's perfect. So she will have it on her page. We'll have it in the YouTube, information, so that they know how to reach you. And we can tell that you can cater to all with all their needs, because I feel that you can really offer them all the options that they can choose the best one from.
Well, you
So
know what?
thank you so
Thank you.
much for coming in here today and sharing this valuable time with us, letting people know their options and how they can reach you. And thank you, Han, for hosting our Tuesday Talk. Again, our viewers, this is Tuesday Talk every Tuesday, roundabout, in the afternoon time. We come, we casually chat, and we chat about all things good because we want people to know what all good can be done, what all services can be provided. And we bring in people, amazing people just like Mr. Boyd Handley here, so that we can connect you guys to the services that they provide. Have a happy Tuesday ahead. Stay blessed. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Boy. Bye
Thank
now.
you.